In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the darkness. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. These are the first sentences of the Bible, the beginning of the story of Genesis, one of the most controversial pieces of literature, often discussed, ridiculed, or revered. But do these words still make sense today in the light of our scientific understanding of the beginning of the universe? Well, what do these words say? When I read about void, darkness, deep, and even water, which was in ancient times often associated with chaos, I look at the description of some kind of primordial soup. One of the theories how our universe came into existence is the theory of false vacuum inflation, which basically says you have random quantum fluctuations in total empty space. Well, what is total empty space? Of course, at first you will have to remove me because I'm quite annoying. Then you have to remove the furniture around me, the walls, the electromagnetic waves, and cool everything down to 0 Kelvin. Total emptiness. Nothing left in here. And then you will still have these random quantum fluctuations. Well, the next thing the story says is God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Well, the false vacuum inflation theory says that one of these random quantum fluctuations caused a field, and this field borrowed an immense amount of energy for just a minuscule amount of time, because the shorter the time you borrow the energy, the greater the energy can be that you borrow. And then this field got into a problem because there was an infinitesimal amount of zero energy states it could return to. And so it had to decide in which of these states it had to return. And in this minuscule amount of time of 10 in the raised to minus 32 power, minuscule, very minuscule amount of time, it took to decide our universe started to inflate due to the anti-gravity pressure caused by the different amount of possibilities outside and inside of this newly created energy bubble. Well, and so you suddenly have an immense amount of energy. And when you see light as an ancient synonym for energy, you now have the light that came into being. Well, we have the primordial soup of random quantum fluctuations. We have the light, the intense amount of energy, but we don't have God's spirit. Well, in comes the Boltzmann brain. Well, the problem with the random quantum fluctuation theory is that you would have to accept the infinite monkey theorem. What is the infinite monkey theorem? Well, you have a monkey, for example, you take me. I'm a pretty decent monkey, I hope. So, and you need a keyboard, and I also have a keyboard right here. So I have a keyboard, monkey, and I start randomly typing on that keyboard. Sooner or later, okay, much later than sooner, I will type every book that was ever written in human history. Well, you will say that the chance for this is almost infinitesimally small. But the problem is it's almost zero and not zero. And when you have eternity, everything that is possible, even if the chance is extremely low, will happen sometime. And now comes the problem with the Boltzmann brain, because a Boltzmann brain is a human brain appearing out of nothing. And not only a human brain, you also require some life support, since a human brain in total emptiness wouldn't exist for very long. But still, the chance for this Boltzmann brain to appear is greater than the chance for our universe to happen. Now, do I want to say that God is a Boltzmann brain? Well, I don't want to say this, but if you accept chance and if you accept this quantum physics, the most likely order of events is that first comes the Boltzmann brain and then comes the universe. And maybe this Boltzmann brain helped these random quantum fluctuations to create a universe that was capable or will be capable of housing brains like it. And then we pretty much have the story which is written in Genesis. We have the primordial soup. We have the spirit hovering about that primordial soup and causing light. Now, of course, you may say that I'm reading something into these words that the authors never intended. Well, this is of course a valid argument. However, when you see that there is this brain that is capable of influencing quantum fluctuations in a way and setting all the parameters to create brains like it in the long run, or produce brains like it in the long run. It may also be capable to set parameters or influence this universe in a way that some monkey someday writes a book that contains the story this brain wants to tell its creations. This may now appear to be pretty weird, and of course it is. But when I look around and look at the laws of this universe and how weird it is and how complex and complicated, and when I think what kind of brain would be required to come up with such an idea to create a universe like this, then the story of the monkey typing the Bible that the creator of this universe intended to exist doesn't seem as weird to me as before. And these are my random ramblings about the first sentences of Genesis. I hope you were entertained.